Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Media Watch. I'm your co-host, Eric Tait.
I'm Bob Anthony.
And I'm their friend and guest, Alan Singer.
Welcome again, Dr. Alan Singer, educator and historian. We are putting this together the Wednesday before our Monday air, being brought to you folks by the good graces of EVT Educational Productions, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and Zoom. And this is the day after a bunch of primaries and also the continuing fallout of all kinds of stuff with the former president. But before we get into all that national stuff, well, let's jump back a couple of years, a few years back when we had guest Colonel Gregory Collins on Media Watch talking about the eviction, quote, eviction, actually the Harlem Marines, which he founded and was leader of, that trained young people in the history of Harlem's presence in the military. And they were actually founded and headquartered in the 369th Regiment Armory in Harlem. They were asked to vacate the Armory, that group, because of renovations that were being planned. The Harlem 369 Veterans Organization, from that hallowed group of people, and their Historical Society, which were also housed in the Armory at the 369th Regiment Armory, 141st between 5th and Lenox Avenue in Harlem. All those folks were, quote, evicted because they were asked to leave because of renovations. And here it is, I think that was in 2014, the Armory's been renovated, and none of them have been able to resume their residency in the 369, not the 369th Historical Society, not the 369 Vets Organization, and nor the Harlem Marines that Gregory Collins founded. The Marines have recently been evicted from their local residence that they took residence up because of some other bureaucratic thing about a lease not being extended. There are a couple of news reports on it. I just spoke with Colonel Collins today. He said the city was trying to help by pushing the state. The state, of course, is the governor because the Guard falls under the governor's purview. And the state elected officials, like the senators that are up for primaries, even as we speak, in early voting this election season, I believe Cordell Clare and Robert Jackson, they have not proven helpful to getting these organizations back to their home. Senator Schumer, I don't know whether they reached out to his office or not. He's federal, but since the Guard sometimes gets federalized, they should be leaning on him to lean on the governor to get these folks back in. I raise this, folks, because these people are in limbo and they're like orphans. And the storied 369th Regiment, the Historical Society and their Veterans Association deserve to be back in their actual home, which is the 369 Regiment Army. They've got the Guard doing their drills there. I believe Gregory told me the Harlem Children's Zone are in another part of the Armory. Alan, you'd heard something about lead. That's why they claimed they couldn't let them back in. But I think something needs to be done, and we need to stay on top of this, folks. These people should not be orphans in their home.
Well, the thing with this program is that what we hear a lot is that youth don't have proper male, people to look up to.
Role models.
Have role models. That's what I was looking for. They don't have proper male role models. And this Harlem Youth Marines group, operating for founded by Mr. Collins, provided that, not just in organizing them, but they had uniforms and they had to adhere to certain rules. They had certain rules of conduct, certain, got to be there on time, things like a lot of things they learned from the Harlem Youth Marines. And here we have their current landlord saying that, well, you don't have a lease, so you need to leave. And according to that little Channel 4 video that you forwarded us, Eric, the landlord even tried to give away their books, put up a free book sign on their window without their permission. So yeah, this is a group that has done a lot in Harlem, and state senators up for election the day after this airs should be aware that this group needs help.
You know, there's so much hypocrisy that goes on. So here people keep arguing that these kids lack the discipline to succeed in society, and you have an organization which is teaching them how to function in a disciplined way, and it's being discarded, it's being mistreated. I hope people can contact their elected officials, especially those who are seeking re-election in November, and let them know that this has to be a priority.
Yes, they definitely need to do that. These kids actually get training in use of weapons and the respect for weapons. And in this day and age where people indiscriminately get all these crazy weapons and go around shooting up people because they have no concept of what the carnage is all about, these young people are being taught how to deal with these kinds of weapons in a safe manner. In any event, let's hope Senator Claire and Jackson and even Schumer and people in the New York mayor's office that supposedly are trying to help them with the state get off their duffs and try to do what needs to be done for not just the Harlem Marines, but the 369 Veterans Association and the Historical Society, so they can be moved back into their home at the 369 Regiment Armory. And on that note about storied historical groups that have saved the democracy on more than one occasion, more than one world war, let's talk about how we're going to save the democracy from a guy who seems to think that because he once occupied the White House, the documents that were coming through his office and his White House belonged to him. And so he took them down to Mar-a-Largo after he was voted out of office. And even though the federal government said, you owe us some documents, give them to us, and negotiated with him for months, they lied and said they had given him the documents. Tell us about that Mar-a-Lago raid, Bob.
I mean, just the fact that the FBI has to raid anyone is connected with classified documents, that's a serious case to begin with. But when they have to raid the home of the former president, Donald Trump, I mean, that's a incredibly serious thing, because his lawyers had said a couple of weeks ago, well, longer than that, that he was not in possession of any classified document, and there was no need to come over here to check for anything. Well, that apparently an insider told the FBI and the Justice Department that that wasn't so. So the FBI had to go in and get the paperwork. So of course, this is inciting incredible blowback from the far right. I mean, we have people staged outside of FBI offices with, long rifles and Confederate flags. We have an incredible far right blowback, and we're sitting here wondering what's going to happen this midterm.
Al, a little bit. I mean, talk about at least a couple of laws violated by this guy.
Well, the first thing is one of Donald Trump's first acts when he took office was to sign a law that ramped up the penalties for mistreatment of classified documents. And this is because there was a soldier, Chelsea Manning, in Afghanistan, who had released documents, and Trump was infuriated by this. So what we have is Trump in violation of Trump law. I seem to remember during the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump was leading chants at his rallies because Hillary Clinton supposedly had classified documents on her email server. And I think the chant was lock her up, which may be very appropriate right now, but we don't hear that from the right-wing thinkers. One of the major laws seems to have been the Espionage Act, which was actually passed during World War I. And under the Espionage Act, you can't have a magic wand and decide that these documents are unclassified and you could steal them, which is what Donald Trump said. He said that he verbally unclassified everything he was taking. He didn't mention it to anybody else, and there's no written record. So he is clearly in violation of the Espionage Act because those documents could not have been declassified. And we're talking about documents that have, we believe, information on nuclear secrets, on American military placements. These were not his. I've been watching Trevor Noah, and Trevor Noah has been ravishing Donald Trump. He's hysterical. You know, he said one of the big lines is Donald Trump is notorious for claiming that anybody who pleads the fifth because they're guilty. And I think Donald Trump has now set a record for pleading the fifth. Donald Trump claimed he took the documents because he was doing homework. But as Trevor pointed out, that you never did any work. Why would you do homework? And you didn't work here anymore. So it's he's on a line. It's just a continuation. But what troubles me even more is that the MAGA people and really the entire Republican Party is rallying to his defense. This is a very bad statement about what's going on in our nation. When someone can so clearly break the law, make up all sorts of excuses, and people you would think were responsible elected officials justify his actions.
Who was it, Bob, that you said decided as a result of this that we need to repeal the Espionage Act? Which Republican politician?
Now we have Rand Paul, who is high on our list of crackpots, saying a few days ago that the Espionage Act should be repealed. All of a sudden, he just has this thought pop into his head.
Oh,
And he's protecting his guy, obviously. He's protecting Trump. But you're right, Eric and Alan. This is bad. There's no excuse for what happened. Even if they were in sealed boxes that never got opened, you can't have them, period. You can't have them. So yeah, this is but yet the Republicans defend this.
Yeah, there were documents that were beyond top secret. They had secret compartmentalized information, which is the thing above top secret, that you're supposed to be in a secret compartmentalized lockdown facility before you even take the documents out of their whatever. And he's blithely carrying all that stuff down to Mar-a-Lago, which may or may not have a secret encrypted room, but people are walking in and out. I think the whistleblower, the inside mole, I think the Lincoln Project did a phenomenal commercial about who's the mole, Donald? Who's the mole in Mar-a-Lago? It was hysterical. If I'd been smart, I would have pulled it up and ran a little clip of it for the show. But they said, who knows who's walking in and out of this particular room looking at the stuff. And that's when I believe the FBI said, oh no, you lied to us about giving up the classified documents. You've been stonewalling us when we said, just bring them in. We won't hold you to any whatever. Now you're acting like a crazy nut that you are. Okay, we're coming. And because the FBI said we're coming and they went, now you got these wackos. One guy with a bulletproof vest storming an FBI office out in the Midwest somewhere, getting shot, killed, dead. Another one making all kinds of threats online, who they arrested because they said, okay, you went one step too far with this particular threat. And the rhetoric has been so bad, it's been ramping up so much on social media that across the board, law enforcement people are on high alert, and people are talking about the fact that this crazy man is about to cause serious harm to people in the real world, not just online. But that's par for the course because he can feel the noose tightening. Let's segue to the fact that in Atlanta, Fani Willis has said, Rudy Giuliani, come down. You need to talk to my grand jury about tampering with our election. Lindsey Graham, come down. You need to talk to my grand jury about tampering with our election. And both Lindsey Graham and Rudy Giuliani tried to fight those subpoenas, and two federal judges have said, no, you're going down there to testify. Graham is saying he's still going to fight it. My gut feeling is you're not going to get another judge to not back up what this other judge is. You're going to be down there testifying. Now, that's the one where we've been saying on Media Watch, that if they get him for anything, it'll be for election tampering in the state of Georgia, because she's got that phone call and she's got people already on the books testifying to what they tried to do, including Giuliani, who has been listed as a target. And so you can see that the noose is tightening on Mr. Crazy. And so he's now trying to figure out, how do I stay out of jail? Oh, let me dangle the fact that I'm a presidential candidate. He hasn't declared, because if he declares, then there's certain things he can't do with certain money, et cetera, et cetera. So he's tiptoeing around declaring, but I don't think he's declared because he figures he's going to be needing time and money and lawyers to fight the fact that they're after him and going to put his act in jail. Talk to me.
Well, in New York, Letitia James has been pushing him on for tax fraud, and his chief financial officer looks like he's going to be taking a plea deal, though it's not clear if he is going to rat out Trump. But there, again, on many different fronts, federal, state, more than one state, the depths of his illegal behavior, possible illegal behavior, is getting exposed in many, many ways. And, like a wounded animal, he strikes back. Hopefully people will say, well, he's striking back at the FBI. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Bob, what about the January 6th people? They've got some Trump people talking to them recently, right?
Right. I don't have the names, but right, they have some people, and they obviously weren't able or didn't try that hard to avoid their subpoenas, and they testified in the last few days. And it doesn't have the same cachet as the nationally televised hearings from a few weeks ago, but they're still very effective because they're insiders, testifying before this very serious committee. But as you said, Eric and Alan, no matter how many charges they allege against Trump and his acolytes, the defense is always there. That his supporters just blindly follow him, and it's like they're not listening. And if they are, they don't care. They just want their guy. It's really disappointing. And like I said before we went on air, I'm really worried about the midterms. It's going to be a nasty one based on the garbage that's out there that's trying to be elected.
I'm going to segue midterm in a minute, but talk to me, Alan, about this Secret Service brouhaha between the January 6th committee and this Inspector General of the Secret Service, who's supposed to be stonewalling. Talk about Trump supporter.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it Rosemary Wood, who was the secretary for Richard Nixon, who somehow was able to reach over with her toe and accidentally delete the tapes?
Right.
It took a hand, a toe, and it was ridiculous. But go ahead.
Plastic woman. That's what it was. Plastic woman.
Yes.
The Secret Service, at least some members of it, seem to be trying to duplicate that feat.
Yes.
Apparently, they had texts during January 6th that mysteriously have been deleted from all their machines. Now, I thought there was multiple steps to delete, because my phone always warns me, do you really want to delete this? But apparently in the Secret Service, things just disappear. And the committee is a little disturbed by that. I know I watch a lot of detective shows on TV. I think you could just go back to the phone company and get them, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, this was a really creative defense from a techie point of view. I mean, like you said, Alan, erasing text takes multiple steps, but they alleged that all of their phones were upgraded. And, I assume they have secure phones, so it's a little higher than what we would have, but still, they all got upgraded at once. Mm-hmm. And somehow nobody thought to think that the data was useful. So it's an incredibly creative explanation, which I don't believe at all.
Yeah, but what makes it worse is a month after they discovered it, this same Inspector General said, okay, we're not going to try to retrieve those. Over a year before the hearing started, says, okay, that's gone. Let's not worry about trying to retrieve them. And didn't tell the committee that had been formed to look into this stuff, that, yeah, we lost that stuff, but we're not going to try to look for it, until the committee just sent them let's have all that stuff. Oh, we can't give it to you. Right. But I got to tell you, Carolyn Maloney is head of the oversight committee, not the January 6th. And she said, y'all better come up with that stuff or get those people in front of this committee to testify. Otherwise, we're coming for you with more subpoenas plus. So let's see what happens. But speaking of January 6th, the co-chair of the January 6th hearing, Liz Chaney, went down to defeat in last night's primary out in Wyoming. But basically, Alan is a historian. I don't know if you saw clips from her concession speech, but that speech was basically, as people have been saying, a call to arms. Because I've learned that she immediately changed her re-election committee to a PAC, Political Action Committee, like 2 o'clock in the morning after her defeat, so she can actually use those funds to make sure she targets any of Donald Trump's attempts to get reelected to the White House. And it's also, as you were saying, Alan, what else can she do with that PAC?
She can run for president.
There we go. Pick up on that.
I have to say, Liz Chaney has never been one of my heroes. Her voting record is 93% MAGA Trump. She voted against the climate change bill.
Wow.
But she, along with 9 other Republicans in Congress, did put the preservation of democracy over loyalty to the crazy man. And one of the things that's scary is it's not only that Liz Chaney lost, but 8 out of the 10 Republicans who voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump in the House of Representatives are now out. Either they declined running again, or they were defeated in MAGA primaries. So what we have is insane shouting that has no basis in reality, but the Republican base responding to that and saying, you know, the issue is not the truth, the issue is loyalty, and you were disloyal. This is very frightening because I thought we were supposed to be loyal to the Constitution, not to Donald Trump.
So the question for me is, we've been talking about this on Media Watch before, Alan, with you and other guests, about the fact that Trump basically was a symptom and a finality to a Republican Party that for 50 odd years had been using Richard Nixon's Southern strategy and the first George H.W. Bush, whoever his guy was, that said, you can pull the race card without saying race. So the bottom line is, what used to be the quote conservative party is now the MAGA party. Talk to us about that evolution, Alan. I know we don't have that much time, but while we've got a little bit of time, why should we worry, and why should people who are not in a cult personality try to do something?
Okay, this has been a long evolution, and there's really 2 trends that have taken place. And the first was the response to the civil rights movement in 1968, when George Wallace and Richard Nixon basically ran against Blacks. And what they said is that the efforts to get full equality for African Americans in the United States had to be stopped by whites. And the Republican Party bought that. And what we saw was the entire South going Republican, going red since 1972. But the second thing that happens is that in the 1990s, Newt Gingrich decides, as the Speaker of the House, to set the Republican Party up as the party of no. And so what they do is, rather than seeing themselves as partners in governing, what they do is they obstruct governing. So here we have one trend, open racism, second trend, obstruction of government. And they come together in MAGA, starting with the Tea Party movement in 2010. You know, they take off because of their racist reaction to Obama, that he represents their country being stolen.
The Koch brothers and Alec.
Yeah.
Funding most of that turf. Yeah.
And Trump was part of that movement, the birther movement, making up that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. Even in his most recent tweets, he has played on race and he's played on ethnic hostility. He doesn't refer to President Obama, former President Obama, he refers to Barack Hussein Obama because
Yeah.
somehow his
Yes.
middle name is un-American.
Mhm. Yep.
It elicits that racist passion that he's looking for. Just
Yep.
that simple middle name. You know, it's awful. And we have about 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. So with the context of Liz Chaney going down, this is why I say we can come back to that midterm, Bob, because with Liz Chaney going down, Lisa Murkowski in Alaska survived because of ranked voting, and she's one of the top 4, so she's going to be on the ballot. And I'm not a big Murkowski fan anymore because, like you said, not one Republican voted for it. We'll call it the climate bill, but that was an omnibus bill that was trying to help Americans across the board, not just fix our climate situation. And the Republicans just totally tried to torpedo that. They did not want to let that bill pass, just because, as you said, obstructionism, they don't want to have the Democrats do anything successfully because they might keep control of both houses, which means this midterm, as you were saying, Bob, is crucial in that the positive fallout from passing this climate bill, from dealing with stuff that's going to help people deal with Medicare payments, making sure Medicare can be negotiated down. There are a number of economic factors to that bill that will positively help Americans across the board, no matter what political party you're in. Democrats can use that to help run and supposedly outside chance of keeping control of the House. But based on what these Republicans were doing in the Senate, they might be able to not only keep their Senate seat, but pick up and gain real control. In the short time we have, Bob, what do you think? Or Alan, what do you think? Because, hey, we can't afford to lose either chamber to keep the democracy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Eric, and we only have 30 seconds, but between Chaney and what's happening with Warnock and Walker, it's a dangerous moment.
You know, my partner and I are actually planning to go to Georgia the weekend before Election Day to help turn out the vote, because the Georgia vote, both for Warnock and in the gubernatorial election with Stacey Abrams, is going to be one of those turning points. People of conscience may also want to go to Pennsylvania, where there's a crucial Senate battle taking place.
Okay.
So there are things to do, and there are things that are very important to do that we could be involved in.
With that, I'm going to leave it. Folks, this has been Media Watch. I'm your co-host, Eric Tait.
I'm Bob Anthony. Follow us on Twitter and YouTube at Media Watch EVT.
And I am Alan Singer, their friend and guest. Thank you very much for having me today.